Good morning, everyone. Nice to be with you today. Have my coffee this morning. How about we have a little chat? I was watching TV with my daughter the other day. It was late at night, just the two of us. Someone on the show that we were watching said something that immediately caused her and I just to start laughing. Now, I don't mean a little chuckle. This was a full-blown tears, can't catch my breath, snorting, belly aching laugh. Must have lasted for minutes. At least it felt like it did. I can remember when we were able to gain some control that we were both exhausted by this outpouring of emotion. Since that thing happened, I've been thinking a lot about joy and laughter. Now, certainly these unprecedented times are certainly not laughable. They are serious. They're tragic. They're scary. They cause anxiety and unrest. I can remember when my mom passed away during this period of time, my sisters and I were together. We had started sharing memories of Mom. Eventually, they turned funny because Mom was just really funny. We ended up in this state of laughter that even today makes me smile when I remember. Now, that was a horrible situation. Laughter did not seem to be appropriate. But I have to tell you that it made me feel great. I think we need to be reminded that joy and laughter are not situational, based on circumstances. There can be a time in everything to smile, to chuckle, and share a laugh. I think God is good with this too. I have a picture of Jesus laughing, and it reminds me of having joy, and that Jesus is the author of joy and laughter. Now, the story of Job, if you're not familiar, is not one to laugh at. In the book of Job in the Old Testament, if you want to read up on him, you can have a read. He's a good man. He's upright. He ends up losing all of his livestock, servants, and children. His friends come, give him bad advice. It's not a fun book at all, but it does have a great ending. In this book, in chapter 8, verses 1 to 22, is really a significant part of the story of Job. And this verse is in that section, and it says, "He will yet fill your mouth with laughter and your lips with shouts of joy." Now, I'm not sure if I had been in that situation and someone said this to me, I'm not quite sure what my response would be. But I don't know that I would have said, "Oh yeah, you're right. Let's just keep going." But Job believed in God, and God blessed him and restored him. So let's think about this. Have you ever laughed so hard that your whole body starts to ache? There are times that I've spent among friends where the laughter has gone on for so long that my cheeks hurt, my chest hurts. I actually get a stitch in my side from laughing so hard. Who would think that so much discomfort would come from something so good? Maybe that's why they call it side-splitting laughter. I don't know. And when the laughing finally stops, I'd always grip my side and say something like, "Oh, I haven't laughed that hard in ages." And although that may be true, I'll already start anticipating the moment when I can laugh that hard all over again. There are times in our lives where it seems like we have a laughter drought. Life can get serious, and times can be tough. But once that drought breaks, you realize just how much you've been missing. When Job's friends gave him the hope that God will yet fill your mouth with laughter and your lips with shouts of joy, He is truly giving him something to look forward to. Even when we are going through deep valleys, if we are able to find some humor, then life seems a little brighter. I think if we were to add a little more laughter to our days, then our attitude would immediately change for the better, and our future would seem brighter. Unbridled laughter indicates a heart full of trust. Now, if I can't trust God, which has always been the deceiver's spin on things, then I have to stay on high alert 24/7, always be serious, and rarely, if ever, laugh, because who knows what evil lurks just ahead with my name on it. Sadly, that's nothing but a Chicken Little way to live. And if the sky hasn't already fallen, it could at any moment. And when it does, brother, watch out. But you and I as believers are not called to Chicken Little living. That's the exact opposite of something world might find as attractive as a sweet-smelling savor. Listen how the ever-hilarious Teresa of Avila once put it. From silly devotions and sour-faced saints, good Lord, deliver us. Here's the deal. We are invited to boldly, daily approach the throne as daughters and sons of the good Father who loves without condition. Take a look at the Proverbs 31 women. Men, just humor us for a moment. All that industriousness and responsibleness and smart as a whipness at the city gates. But if you could read the whole description, she was also in on the joke, the good news, if you will. And it freed her to, wait for it, laugh at the days to come. That's in verse 25. Jesus was the very embodiment of joy. He was filled with God's Spirit, who produces the fruit of joy. I imagine that he and his disciples roared in laughter, some good times of belly aching, room rocking laughter in their collective joy. In John 15, Jesus emphasized how he is friends with those who truly follow him, and we will share his joy, which he possessed first. It's true to say that his joy relates to the peace we have with God through Christ. More practically, think of the many implications and manifestations. Is there true friendship without sharing laughter together? Without enjoying the gift of each other? If all these things were made through and for Christ, that must include the joys of relationships, of friendships, of happiness shared, and laughter. These are joys that are significant as part of our human experience. It would be odd, perhaps even sinful, for the Lord who put on our feelings along with our flesh to have passed over them. Therefore, the joy of Christ and our joy is serious business with eternal costs. So here goes. Number 1, take time to laugh. Ecclesiastes says, for everything there is a season, time for every matter under heaven, a time to weep, a time to laugh, time to mourn, and a time to dance. If you've been on the planet for more than a few years, you know life isn't one big laugh. It's filled with difficult trials. Even so, the Bible declares there is a time to laugh. Some ways to incorporate this into your life: talk to a friend with a good sense of humor. Retell a funny story from the past. How about this? Play a practical joke on a good friend or family member. Spend time around children or pets. That's a surefire way to get some laugh. How about these? Bulletin blunders. Scouts are saving aluminum cans, bottles, and other objects to be recycled. Proceeds will be used to cripple children. The pastor would appreciate if the ladies of the congregation would lend him their electric girdles for the pancake breakfast next Sunday morning. For those of you who have children and don't know it, we have a nursery downstairs. Oops. Remember in prayer the many who are sick of our church and community. Oh my gosh. The peacemaking meeting scheduled for today has been canceled due to a conflict. Don't let worry kill you off. Let the church help. And my favorite, Weight Watchers will meet at 7 p.m. Please use the large double door at the side entrance. Oh, sorry about that. No, I'm really not. It was funny. Number 2, share joy. Proverbs says, a joyful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones. Don't keep joy to yourself. Share the good medicine of a joyful heart with others. Have you brought laughter or joy to someone today? If not, think of a way you can make one person laugh. It'll bring joy to both of you. Third, lighten your load. Luke says, blessed are you who weep now, for you shall laugh. Have you been so sad that you thought you'd never laugh? If you're a follower of Christ, you are blessed to be part of God's kingdom. The God of the universe can bring you comfort and inner peace, even as you struggle with a heavy heart. Being blessed is about experiencing hope and joy regardless of circumstances. King David said, you have turned for me my mourning into dancing. You have loosed my sackcloth and girded me with kindness. Feeling burdened today? Ask God to lighten your load. Savor surprises and don't be afraid to laugh at yourself. In Genesis, the story of Sarah, God has made laughter for me, she says. Everyone who hears will laugh over me. And she said, who would have said to Abraham that Sarah would nurse children? Yet I have borne him a son in his old age. Abraham's wife Sarah waited 90 years to become a mother, thinking there was no way she could provide a family heir. Herself, she was downright dumbfounded when he told her she would have a son. She had to laugh out of pure joy. Think of a time when you were pleasantly surprised by God's timing. And finally, expect great things. Psalm 126:2 says, our mouth was filled with laughter and our tongue with shouts of joy. Then they said among the nations, the Lord has done great things for them. When God led his people out of captivity and brought them back to their homeland, they were so relieved and thankful that they laughed and shouted for joy. After spending 70 years as captives, one of the first things they did was built an altar and worshiped God. It can be easy to dwell on things that aren't going your way. But remember the verse above. God does great things. Keep an eye out this week for the great things he has done in your life. Then take a moment to thank him for it and share it with a friend. God bless you today. Be joyful. The Lord loves you.